Joining us now from House Financial Services, he's Congressman Bryan Steil. It's great to see you, sir. Okay, the White House trying to do preemptive damage control on that GDP report this week, expected to show the second quarter also shrunk again. We could already be in a recession. You know, Congressman Michael Strain at the American Enterprise Institute, you know, the White House is saying, well, recession is not 2 straight quarters of negative growth. He is saying each of the past 10 times the U.S. went through 2 straight quarters of negative growth, a recession was ultimately declared. But the White House is denying this. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, this administration wants to redefine recession. You got to remember, this is the administration that told us reckless spending wouldn't cause inflation. Then when it caused inflation, they told us it was temporary and transitory. Then when it wasn't temporary and transitory, they blamed Putin, they blamed corporate greed, they refused to take responsibility. So I warn you, they're going to try to redefine responsibility, because the responsibility of this administration is to change course, unleash American energy, get wasteful spending under control, because Americans are suffering. Call it a recession, call it something else. We know that people are feeling pain at the pump, pain at the grocery store, and it's the lack of responsibility in this administration that's causing these problems.
And Congressman, let's get your reaction to this. The White House press secretary getting criticized for claiming economic indicators do not show a recession or even a pre-recession. Watch this.
If you look at low unemployment at 3.6, if you look at the average amount of jobs that have been created, it's about 400 per month. Those indicators do not show that we are in a recession or even a pre-recession. Again, I'm not going to define it from here. I'm just going to leave it to the NBER, as we have stated, of how they define recession.
You won't declare one until they have declared it one.
I'm just saying that we're just not going to define it. We use the indicators that the NBER, the National Bureau of Economic Research, have used.
All right, not to sound too snarky or persnickety, but the National Bureau of Economic Research, their definition of a recession is tighter. It's a significant decline in economic activity that lasts more than a few months. A few months, not 6 quarters, not 6 months rather, not 2 quarters. Plus, the NBER can take up to a year after a recession to announce one. So we may be in one.
Yeah, this administration doesn't want to do anything to actually help people. They want to redefine terms so they can shirk their responsibility. But come talk to somebody in Wisconsin, in Kenosha, who's getting clobbered when they go to the pump and they can't afford to fill up their car with gas. Come and talk to people across the country who can't afford their grocery bills, who are making decisions that they can't take their children out to dinner for pizza on Friday because costs keep going up. This administration is so concerned with optics that they're redefining words like recession rather than actually addressing the pain Americans are feeling. That is ridiculous, and this administration needs to change course immediately, and the American people need to vote Democrats out of office to change course come November.
And, well, how are Republicans going to stop the spending? Because Republicans have been spending a lot, too.
Well, we saw $1.9 trillion in spending under one-party Democratic control just after Biden came in office. That's what set gasoline on a fire that was already burning at that period of time with reckless spending in Washington. We need to change course, get spending under control. But the other piece of this is we can unleash American energy. Energy is a huge driver in the inflationary environment we're feeling, having a big impact on forcing this economy into a recession. This administration would rather go to Saudi Arabia to beg and plead for additional resources rather than going to places like North Dakota and Texas and unleashing American energy to allow people to not be getting clobbered at the pump and to bring inflation down. They're doing everything wrong.
You wonder how much of what you just said, and also what's been called gaslighting by the White House, whipping fastballs by the American people, how much is that's causing the polls to collapse for the White House? I mean, Quinnipiac, 66% disapprove of how Biden is handling the economy. 67% say things are worse now than they were a year ago. That's consistent with the recession. Let's show Republicans have been jumping all over this. You're going to see tweets here from Jim Banks. You can't message your way out of recession. You're going to see more from Republicans here. The Biden administration appears to be changing the definition. That's Tom Cotton. You know, much of the first quarter weakness Congressman, was concentrated in international trade and inventory. Consumers and businesses were continuing to spend and invest. But now that's consumers and businesses look like they're dialing back. And the other thing that's changing, too, is the media is now saying to the White House, stop with the bad messaging. Let's watch this. Watch.
I was laughing to myself with the "in my view" thing that Caitlin highlighted, because it's like, well, in my view, I should be drafted into the NBA. Like the NBA executives didn't agree with that. Right. Like it doesn't really matter what you think. There is a technical definition, 2 straight quarters of negative economic growth. They clearly believe that that is likely to come to pass later this week. They're trying to pre-butt it. To your point, we get why they're doing it politically.
Right.
At the same time, we have these terms for reason.
What do you say, Congressman?
Yeah, people in Wisconsin and across the country are getting clobbered. They're darn frustrated with the excuses from this administration, with the lack of responsibility from this administration, with their attempts to redefine words that we have used for decades. They want to do anything but take the responsibility for what's playing out across the country right now, and that's so many families can't afford the things that their family needs. That rests at the White House, the Biden administration, and one-party Democratic control. And I think voters are going to pour out in November and take it out on Democrats, as they should.
Congressman Steil, thanks for joining us. It's good to see you.